Good afternoon, everybody. I'll call the order the Public Utilities Commission meeting for Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. The first item on our agenda is our consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions on that?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is our Employee of the Month recognition.
Yes, Commissioners, our Employee of the Month for March is Baylor Kraus. Baylor is actually the newest member of our natural gas team. Baylor has done an excellent job of completing the required operator qualification certificates that he needs and his Class A commercial driver's license. Baylor's always ready to help with the project, eager to learn more about the operation of the department, and his plumbing skills are very valuable. His hard work and effort to make the department a better place is appreciated. So congratulations to Baylor Kraus.
Congratulations.
I'll make the motion to recognize Joe Weber as Employee of the Month for February,
Baylor Kraus.
or Baylor Kraus. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong place. Employee of the Month for March
March, yes.
of 2025.
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we move on to new business, the Aurora Endpoint Defense.
Yes, Commissioners, this is part of the IT department. They went out and got quotes for the endpoint defense, ended up deciding to go with Arctic Wolf. Arctic Wolf also is our managed and detection response services. So this contract will align with that one. You agreed to a 3-year contract for the Arctic Wolf managed and detection and response services back in August of 2024. This is a budgeted item, and it comes, I guess it would be 2 years, comes under budget at $82.15.
Make a motion to receive and order filed the quote provided by TSG for Aurora Endpoint Defense by Arctic Wolf in the amount of $2,925.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Dan, I believe you're up.
Yeah, it's that time of year again for the New Ulm Electric System Reliability Standards. This is something we do every year. So for those of you that have seen this several times, I'm sorry, but for the new members, we'll kind of walk through it in detail.
Good to go through it. Yep.
Obviously, this is for 2024. Simple, just some quick definitions to start off. Simply, the answer is the power there when it's needed, when and where it's needed. This is how we benchmark our system and compare against other entities. It's something that the state started for the IOUs years ago. It's kind of voluntary that we do it, but a lot of other MMUA and APPA members do it. You'll see that further on in the presentation. And obviously, we use the APP's eRelia tracker. They give us a real nice little report and stuff that explains how we compare against our colleagues and competitors. There's 3 basic things we really look at, and that's the SAFE is one of them. It's the system average interruptions frequency index. It's total number of interruptions divided by the total number of customers. And this math ends up being kind of important later on. So SAIDI is the duration divided by the total number of customers. So the sum of how long all those interruptions were divided over the number of customers. And the last one is the customer average interruption duration index, or CAIDI. Sum of the interruptions divided by the total number of interruptions. So add up how long they all were divided by the number of them. So it's just an average of them. And this year, again, New Ulm for our safety is freakishly good. I mean, you can't hardly get better than .01. The one I like to compare us to is Region 3, because that's utilities about the same size as us in the E-Relia tracker. It doesn't say who it is. Later on, you're going to see, this is New Ulm's history here. Then we compare ourselves to Otter Tail Power. They're always a year behind schedule because of their reporting and stuff. And then Excel Energy. Well, Excel Energy is such a huge animal, it's kind of not apples to apples or whatever. So last year we thought we did good at .02. Well, we did twice as good at .01 now, so I don't know what else to say about it. Any questions? Well, here's a graph of that, and you can see the one thing you'll see some spikes here and there. When New Ulm has a big spike, New Ulm's usually got such a small footprint, one major weather event or one major event can really mess up your numbers. Because, you know, we're only about 10 miles long and Excel is, I have no idea how long, they got square miles that are in the hundreds of thousands of square miles probably, so. This is Sadie, again, some of the durations divided by a number of customers. So if you're an average customer, you were out for less than a minute. 0.8 of a minute, so that sounds pretty good. Again, Region 3, utilities of about our size, they average 50 minutes. So I think we're doing pretty good. Again, we've got a great history. You know, obviously certain years we have things happen that cause a spike. And one thing you should mention is we always consider a weather event, because a lot of these are weather tied. You think of a snowstorm or a storm in the middle of summer, tornado, whatever. I can't remember which year, but one year we actually had, during wickedly cold, we had a couple switches fail that caused an outage. So it was just a winter deal, you know, February 20 below for a week straight. We had a switch fail up in an industrial park that really messed up our numbers right out of the gate. So we always think summer, but there is actually other events that can kind of really mess it up for everyone. Again, you look at our numbers, we look really, really good. Katie is a little different, and here's where the math comes up. You notice it's the sum of the interruption durations divided by the total number of interruptions. And here's where the truth's gonna come out. You go, wow, 95, we're still doing okay, but we're not looking near as good. We had 4 interruptions is all we had. So we divided the number by 4 that were reportable. So we, kind of a nuance to the math, it's just so low it skews the number again. But again, we look really, really good. Again, 2020, I can't remember right off what that event was. But obviously that was a weather-generated event. And you look at the graph again. Here we're pretty close to the Region 3 folks. You know, we're kind of tracking with them other than spikes. But otherwise, again, we're really, really doing a nice job, I think. And here's our outages. And you see here's where one customer was impacted, but it was for 132 minutes. So I think that's when we had to run a temporary service because it was in the middle of winter. Underground cable went out. Here's another one customer, but it was 108 minutes long. So it was a complicated problem to fix, but it was only for one customer. We had one transformer, and that was our big outage. It impacted 3 customers. So don't worry, next year I'm better knock on wood. I'm probably jinxing myself. It won't be as easy next year. And then we had one more equipment failure. We had a great year, you know, and we do a lot of, some of the reasons we are doing well, cable is our proactive versus reactive maintenance. Replacing cable in our overhead part of our system, we're always going after tree trimming, keeping things in good shape. Pole test, our Osmos pole testing to make sure the poles are still in good health. And every 5 years we do relay and breakers and switch testing. This is the year it's due. We will be doing that later this year again. And then a couple of projects that I left on here from last year that we actually have finished up. We did the Center Street bypass project. Well, we're now working on generator 4, and we actually ended up using that bypass to do some reconfiguration to kill the high side of the Center Street substation. So the money everybody spent is going to good use. It's not just sitting there doing nothing. We've done some corrective action. We've got a breaker that got everything here except for a couple of minor parts that are on back order. They were supposed to be here in March and didn't make it, so, and it's something we can only do in shoulder months, so we'll probably end up doing that in October or November. And we've done all of our substation RTUs now, which is a significant accomplishment, because when we started that, we were informed by our consultant that we were beyond obsolete. That's never a comforting thought, but we've only got 2 very minor ones to do. The major stuff is already done, so. Now we got a bunch of future projects here where you got some relays. Our last full substation is the south side sub. Half of them have to be completed, and that is in the budget to get that done. Transformer upgrade, we're working on that. Power plant, substation switchgear, we have several of them. One of them we did this winter. There'll be more of them coming. And these are the last 2 RTUs. Again, these are more observation RTUs. The main RTUs that are important are already done. One is just reporting to Heartland, and one is for the West Excel substation, but that is normally our normal open. So we have nothing going through there, but when we do close it, we do need to upgrade that one. Some more keys, planning, we planned maintenance, and again, like we're doing our generator 7 controls right now, the replacement project. 20-year system plans, we'll be doing another 20-year study about every 10 years to keep us current. Build in redundancy, backing up looping systems wherever we can. Underground components in areas susceptible to major wind shear and stuff like that. And SCADA system upgrades so we know what's going on our system. Other keys are just our operators, recognizing the problems, take appropriate restoration steps relatively quickly, training, and again, we've had some people working hard for a long time, so it's good to keep them people around. And we got backup, even on our power delivery, 23rd North, we got a second backup coming from the greater grid. So if one goes down, we can keep ourselves going along with our generation. And here's our steam capacity and our combustion turbine capacity at 71 megawatts. We make it happen keeping our maintenance. We have a fairly aggressive and maintenance budget, and we keep after it. Redundant circuits, like I keep saying, backing everything up one way or another. Again, I'm undergrounding. And we have local generation and good technicians. Conclusions. Here's the math to it, but we're stacking up very well against both the IOUs and our colleagues. And I did make one mistake. We actually got this award on the last bullet point for 24 also. I did not update that. It should say 24 also. Any questions?
Are we part of Region 3?
Yeah, it's generally, kind of the 5-state area here, so it's Minnesota. There's a little, in the report, there's a little map. It's Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, part of Iowa, and Wisconsin in that.
And then do we ever call our, local people to see what their data is? Like, whether it's Hutch or Owatonna or Albert Lee?
No, we've never.
Just for comparison?
Not everybody even does. It's optional for municipals to even do this, so I don't even know if everybody does. This is just a nice report that
Yeah.
it's hard to lay your hands on the numbers, and
Absolutely.
like I said, the IOUs, it's no small feat to find those numbers. I think they deliberately bury them a little bit.
No, it shows that things are going well and the maintenance is happening, which is key.
When you do your testing this spring for breaker testing, is there any service issues to customers when that happens?
We had a technician many years ago, a contractor, mess up and didn't put it on bypass and dumped some stuff. And trust me, our substation technician will not be able, they'll have training wheels on there this time. But, any other questions or comments?
No, the numbers are good.
Thanks.
I make a motion to receive and order filed the report regarding New Ulm's electric system reliability standards for 2024 and acknowledgement of the 2024 Certificate of Excellence and Reliability from the American. that better?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Dan. Next item is engineering scope for sanitary sewer force main design.
Yes, Commissioners, we had a wastewater treatment facilities infrastructure conditions analysis done. Out of that came a facilities plan. Part of that plan identified as the force mains, sanitary sewer force main, as being aged and close to end of life. So this is engineering services for that. In that analysis, they identified alternatives, a do-nothing alternative, rehab alternative, and then a replacement alternative. And the best improvement option for the utility was a replacement. And so this engineering is for a parallel sanitary sewer main to follow or to be parallel to the existing one that goes from 20th Lift Station to the wastewater treatment plant. This force main actually carries 99% of the wastewater from the city of New Ulm to the wastewater treatment plant, so it's critical infrastructure. We have I've gone and requested federal funding from, so far, I've sent in a request to Klobuchar, to Finstead, as well as Smith's office. So hopefully, this may be in some, we might get some type of federal funding. But prior to doing that, we need to do the engineering to make sure that we get this completed and done in the timely manner that's needed. So this is an unbudgeted item because, you know, I guess we didn't think that we were going to be doing the engineering this year. We would be doing it next year. But we have adequate reserves in this fund for the proposal. I think that's it. If you have any questions.
When would construction likely take place? If it were,
Well, if we get federal funding, and this is dependent on federal funding. If we don't get federal funding this year, we'll reapply again next year. But it actually is only a 1-year construction timeframe. And so we'll find out in October of '25 whether we get the funding. If we do get the funding, we have to be done by September of 2026. So that's why we need to do the engineering now and not wait, because the engineering is going to take probably 3-4 months to get done, so.
I'll entertain a motion on that.
I'll make the motion to authorize the city manager to accept the proposal from Bolton and Mink for the engineering and design of the sanitary sewer force main in the amount of $270,000 and enter into an agreement for services on the New Ulm Public Utilities Standard Consultant Services Agreement.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is steam pressure pipe, low pressure steam pipe.
Yeah, we had what it was an old spool piece and a manhole fail kind of behind the bakery over a few blocks away. We have isolated that chunk of line and it is out of service right now. This is just ordering one full-length stick of 40-foot pipe. We're going to take and totally replace it, totally remove the old manhole. It's obsolete. We don't need it anymore, and get that line back into service. Then it'll be back to being looped across the post office, front of the bakery, and come back to the power plant. Right now, it is 2 radial feeds, and it's obviously we would prefer to have it looped for redundancy for everybody involved. And we did have money in the budget in a low-pressure steam project. So it is, this wasn't the project plan, but we do have money in the budget to do something with this. Any other questions?
The 10 3/4 inch pipe? Is that what that is? That's what it says it is.
Yeah,
They
the
that
steam
big?
sizes get a little weird. Because with all the insulation and stuff, the pipe looks like it's about this big, but you take off about 6 inches insulation, and they got a jacket, so yeah, the outside diameter should be about 10 3/4.
No, I just thought that was interesting. All right, I'll entertain a motion from,
I'll make the motion to receive and order filed the quote from R.E. Carlson Incorporated for low-pressure steam pipe in the amount of $10,900.
I'll second.
all right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the water department valves and installation.
Yeah, this is, one is the 18-inch is the main plant valve, leaving the plant, going to the greater system. No longer holds, so now they have to go out in the street and close it, and the plant valve should be working. So the plant was built in 1992, so the valves are getting to beyond their design working life. So that's one of them. And then the 5 smaller valves are actually the under drains. We're currently doing a condition assessment, and we were planning on doing a filter media upgrade, but along the way, we probably won't need to do the media upgrade, but we did find out that those valves aren't workable. So it's again, going around refreshing everything. All these valves, we had 100,000 for some other valves in the Zerk in the budget, so this is budgeted. We probably won't be doing those other valves, but we are actively going through the plant, assessing things, looking for things exactly like this that are starting to fail after 30 years of work. So this is just kind of setting up to do future projects, so things are working, pull the filters down, and needed extended maintenance, we'll call it. Or,
It's a big valve, 18 inches.
yeah, and none of them are cheap, so, but they work every day, so.
Yep, that's what you need.
I'll make a motion to receive and order filed the quote from Vesco Incorporated for Zerk butterfly valves in the amount of $11,370, and for the quote from Minnesota Mechanical Solutions Incorporated, MMS, for the installation of these valves in the amount of $9,223.88, for a total cost of $20,593.88.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Last item on the new business is well 20 and 21 redevelopment.
Okay, this project actually was not budgeted. We have, in previous conversations, told you well 23 and 22 are slated to be being rebuilt right now. The permitting process and things are not going as efficiently as we would like to have had them, or as smoothly. This is a project to get these 2 wells in the best possible shape for the summer and to carry us through till that well project is done. Right now, we're filing our permits now, getting our stuff in line. But the last I talked to the contractor, he had a 7-month waiting list to get on. So we're looking at winter construction for this. And obviously, summer now and get a flood next year. Well, it'd be good to have these in as good as possible so we don't have any other issues.
So 20 and 21 take 7 months for permitting?
No,
Oh,
22 and 23.
okay.
I'm sorry. This we can just do right now.
Okay, there's
Like,
no
literally
permitting
these
involved.
guys-
Kind of a backup plan to make sure
This
that
is
we
getting
have-
us in as good a shape with the rest of our wells as possible,
Got it.
waiting for the other 2
Okay.
to come back.
Yeah, 'cause
And
you-
as a point, I talked to the contractor. We give them notice to proceed within 2 weeks. They'll probably be out there mobilized and working on it.
Oh.
So we're trying to get it up and being done with it maybe before the end of May, definitely early June with both of them.
Yeah,
They're
as
going to
the
do
wells-
one and then the other. Sorry.
Sorry. As the wells go, they lose efficiency, and so they lose the amount of water that they can produce. And so that's what the redevelopment does. It brings it back up to what its rated capacity would be. And, you know, with the potential of having less available water in the summer due to 22 and 23 being done, Dan felt that getting wells 20 and 21 back up to where they could be is just a good idea, just a little extra protection. We don't know what the summer is going to be like, if we have a drought season or anything like that. So it's not that we don't have enough water, but this is just protection to make sure that we have a little wider margin than what we would have.
Yeah, that's a large increase from where they're at today, from where they first started.
Where these wells are in their 70s, so this was, they probably were better than that when they were new.
Sure.
But over, what is that, about 9 years, they've lost a significant amount.
Yeah.
We're just trying to claim some of this back. And the gentleman that developed this spec is a hydrogeologist that helped us develop well 27,
Okay.
and that's another high producer. These two are two of our bigger producing wells. That's
And they
why we're-
actually were on our schedule to be rehabbed at some point. We're just kind of moving them up.
Have we done this process to them before? Like, how often does that happen where we do the cleaning and redevelopment?
We've tried, in the past, they've tried to do it as they see them drop off. We're trying to put a more regimented regime into how often we're doing it, and maybe being a little more aggressive, not letting them get as far out of
Yeah.
balance, shall we say.
So we're confident that that'll bring those back up in that process to,
Nobody will guarantee that it's going to come back to new, but it should have a significant improvement.
okay.
All right. I'll take a motion on that.
I'll make the motion to authorize the city manager to accept the quote from Trout Companies for cleaning and redevelopment of wells 20 and 21 in the amount of $68,500.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Last item is our report of claims.
I'll make the motion to accept the list of claims paid in the amount of $3,806,021.31.
A second.
All right, motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any comments from our commissioners at this time? If not, meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.